What's up, everybody? Welcome to the Smoking Tire Podcast. This episode is brought to you, as always, by Off the Record. If you get pulled over and ticketed, don't plead guilty. Get off the record. Go to offtherecord.com/TST. That's offtherecord.com/TST. And we will get you 10% off all legal services booked through Off the Record. See, they've got lawyers all over the country, and wherever you got that ticket, Off the Record's got a lawyer for someone who can help you fight it effectively. And if you don't get those points off your record, you don't pay. So again, offtherecord.com/TST, offtherecord.com/TST. That's for 10% off all legal services booked through Off the Record. All right, guys, today on the Smoking Tire Podcast, me and Zach are in studio. Well, not exactly. My wife seems to have caught the vid, so I am staying home and we're doing it remote. I found the culprit of what was scratching up my steering wheel, took my first few rides in a Waymo, and boy, do I have reports. I recap the Avance Classics on the Green Concours in Seattle this past weekend, and we bitch about Hertz using AI to screw over their customers. It's a good one. Let's do the Smoking Tire Podcast.
Hey folks, coming to you live today from home. I got back from a trip to the Seattle area to the Avance Classics on the Green Concours, a fabulous event that I'll tell you about in just a minute. And wife wasn't feeling so good last night, and this morning she tested for COVID. Positive. So Zach has to do a medical-related thing later, and rather than risk getting him sick, he's staying home today, so we apologize for the remoteness of this audio, but here we are on a sunny California Monday. Hi, Zach.
Hello, how you doing? We press on anyway.
No COVID for me so far. Yeah. I mean, I don't know. What do you think what do you think the odds are? Spent approximately. I got home at midnight, and I got up and went to work at 6. So we spent 6 hours together in the bedroom, and we had the circulation and a fan on, so there's some circulation going. But what do you think the odds are that I get COVID?
I will say you have demonstrated a pretty strong immune system. Like I get sick probably 3 times as often as you do. I think you have a good shot of beating it. And you've had it before, and you've got some antibodies. I think that's how the science works.
Yeah, I've had some vax updates. I've had vax boosters.
Well, those were years ago. Yeah, I guess it's vaccination. So
no, I got I'm doing the seasonal, the one a year, the seasonal flu COVID combo for free down at my CVS.
Gotcha.
Yeah, no. I think I got a good shot. First time for Hannah though. She made it 5 years. Which is impressive.
I've had it like 4 times.
There's probably not a lot of people left. Huh?
I've had it like 4 times. So props to her. How's she feeling though?
Well, and when I said, how are you feeling last night? And she said, foggy. I went, oh, that's probably not good. When the fog rolls in, that's how you know. That's how you know it's the vid. So anyway, I get to do the podcast outside today with my cats, which may make a cameo in the background. If you're watching the video version right now, Cricket is under the couch behind me. Yeah, so I was in Seattle. I went to the Avance magazine Classics on the Green. I posted some pictures on Instagram. Really nice event. The Avance magazine people are really, really sweet. And they put on a real classy show, some great cars. It was at a winery, and a bunch of wine tasting going on, and some pretty good food as well. But some great stuff I saw, and really good variety. Pacific Northwest always delivers in their variety. It's not like there's no typical collector in the Pacific Northwest. There was everything from your obvious modern exotics to some sort of vintage concours type brass era cars, and there was weird imported French things like Peugeots and oddball JDM cars. There was a whole slew of interesting modified classic minis. There was a meeting of 7 Harlequin Golfs along with a Harlequin Beetle. Zach, did you know they did a Harlequin classic Beetle in Mexico?
Whoa, I'm looking at it right now.
Yeah, so
I'll put it in the show.
Wow. It's on my Instagram. That was a factory Volkswagen car from Mexico. They did not a lot of them. The woman who was driving it knew like everything about it. I don't know if it was like 50 or 100, but it wasn't a lot. And so I'd never seen that before. That was really, really cool.
Wow.
And yeah, right.
That looks like the friendliest Beetle it almost like represents the entire image of that car and the market behind it and why people loved it so much.
Yeah. But it's it's from the same year as the Golf, so that's like a 1994 or something, which is pretty fun. Flick through some of the other photos while you're in there. So the rally cars were from the Dirtfish collection.
Yeah.
Dirtfish Rally School outside of Seattle. Come on up, bud. I think Finn wants to come say hello. The Dirtfish, they brought down that Metro, and they brought down the Lancia Delta S4, which is that insane thing that at first glance looks like a Delta Integrale, but is actually just a pure rally car. This is Finn. He doesn't really want to say hi, but he wants to sit with Daddy during this show. Yeah, Metro 6R4, nutty, and all kinds of really good stuff. It was hot though, man.
Really?
Seattle was cooking. Yeah, it was like over 90. It was brutal. At one point they did run out of water, and there had to be like an emergency water delivery. It was 15 degrees, 20 degrees hotter than, it would be typical for this time of year.
Yeah.
So
wow.
It was, growing pains, right? Viper truck towing a Viper was very fun. That's a good
cool.
one. And there was an original Alpine A110, like the 70s one. There it is.
The smallest thing in the world.
What you need to know about that photo is look at the size of it compared to the guy standing behind it.
Yeah, the roof is so like waist height.
Little.
It's so I'll look little. It up.
Not only is it so little, it looks. I texted the photo to Jason Camisa, and I said it looks like a scale model of the one that we drove, but also the engine is super rear engine. It's not like the new one is a mid-engine car. This one, that engine is hanging so far out the back of the car. I really didn't know that about those things. And I actually took another picture of that just to send to Jason. And I'm going to do the stupid thing where I show you the camera on here, but look at the wheels compared to where the engine is.
Yeah, the engine is completely behind the axle.
Fully behind the axle and longitudinally mounted.
Such a weird
really
thing.
Funky.
They're so light. It's like 1587 or something like that. I mean, the fact that it won as many races and rallies as it did with so little horsepower, and it looks like a long car. I mean, it's next to like an Evo. What is that? Like an Evo 6? But they look like the same length. But this thing, barely touches the windows. It's like barely above the belt line of this newer Evo.
And the other, the newer Alpine next to it, which is the H310 from the 80s, is also pretty fun. That has a twin turbo PRV V6, so it's a twin turbo version of the DeLorean engine.
Right.
Pretty fun.
I wonder how that worked.
Probably not great. You don't see a lot of that around. Philip Seraphim has one because of course he does, and he buys all the weirdest cool stuff, but a really nice event, really nice people. And if you live in, the Seattle, Tacoma, Portland, area, Vancouver, definitely put it on your schedule. Yeah, but there's like a casual 250 GTO back there that I didn't even.
And look at is this a gold Dino? Wow, with a gold Daytona, probably owned by the same person.
Yeah, Jewish Racing Gold Daytonas and Dinos, which was pretty fun. I took all these photos before there was any people there, so obviously there was a lot of people, and I met some really nice fans. The LM002 and that Escort Cosworth are owned by friends of the show, Ben Abrams, Seattle local, who we love. He's always got neat stuff going through his collection. But if you're in that area, definitely make a thing of going to the show because it's really, really cool. It's fun. There's the SSC Tuatara that Zach and I will be driving in 2 weeks in Washington State. I met Jared Shelby. He was very nice. Jared Shelby of SSC, no relation to Carol Shelby. We had a really nice chat. He showed me a bunch of really cool things on the car. And I'm stoked we're going to be driving it. It seems like it should be pretty fun.
It will be crazy, I think.
Yeah. What did you do this weekend, Zach? Really put him on the spot. Hard question.
I did very little. I still don't have a car, so
Why not?
My interior hit a delay. I'll tell you about off camera. Well, it hit a funny delay I'll tell you about on camera, which was I had to drive it to a wedding last week. And I called them, and this woman answered the phone. She says, "Oh, your car, it's done. It's been done." And I went, "Oh, all right, great." And it's not rare for shops to not tell you when your vehicle's done. I wish it was uncommon. So I show up there, and Sarah and I are going to a wedding. We're going to drive separately at a different day. Sarah's already left. So I get to the shop and I walk up, and the guy who's been working on my car looks at me and he goes, "What are you doing here?" And I go, "I'm here to pick my car up." He goes, "It's not done." And I say, I'm like, whoa, like I called, I asked, I was told it was done. And he has this face that's like, he knows what happened. And he's like, "Oh shit." And I go, "Look, man, I need to take this to a wedding, but I'll be back tomorrow and I'll drop it off tomorrow. But I need it and the front seats are done."
Yeah, what wasn't done? What was not done?
Back seats weren't done, and all the sills weren't done. And what's funny about that is the new seats are really comfortable. They restuffed them, everything like that feels great. But I drove our dog to Derek Powell's house, our friend Derek. He was going to watch Tucker for a day, and Derek lives on the east side of the city, and the quickest way to get to him, unfortunately, is surface streets. And my B pillar near the driver's side has been like leaning for about a month. And I went, well, they're going to take care of that. And to put it back in place, you have to take off the door card, the rear door card. It's a huge pain in the ass. So I'm driving to Derek's, doop-a-doop-a-doop, and I feel a tap on my shoulder. And I look, and whatever remaining plastic tabs of that pillar cover were on that pillar cover are no longer intact. Like the surface streets and my suspension just snapped this last clinging finger. And so I arrive. So when I got back, when I dropped the car off the next day, I said, "By the way, I have ordered a new B pillar cover that will be arriving here tomorrow." Because, they wouldn't be able to put it back together.
Folks, this episode of the podcast is brought to you by FitBod. FitBod is a trainer in your pocket. The importance of having a tailored workout cannot be overstated, right? And look, some people can do a full-on, full-time personal trainer. Most people cannot. Right? So if you work out and you're hitting a plateau, you're bored, or you're new to fitness and don't know where to start, FitBod is great. They'll set you up with a custom workout plan tailored specifically to your fitness goals. It makes working out so much easier. It gets the flow going. It helps you track progress, targeted muscle groups, helps you stay focused and get a better workout. I have been trying and succeeding actually in losing weight over the last 3 years, and having these customized workouts is crucial Every time it's a new muscle group, a new target, a new goal, and I'm never stopping. So FitBod could help you stay organized with your workouts, track your fitness, or give you direction if you've never worked out before, haven't worked out in a long time. But every day I exercise, 7 days a week, and whether or not I actually lose weight doing it, it makes me feel so much better every day, and that just sort of feeds itself. So FitBod's customizing a personalized workout routine for you that adapts to your growth over time. FitBod tracks your muscle recovery. There's fine-tuning available by certified personal trainers, and get customized fitness plans that work out for you in over 1,000 demonstration videos. So get in shape this summer with FitBod. Join FitBod today to get your personalized workout plan, 25% off your subscription, or try the app for free for a week at fitbod.me/tire. That's FITBOD.me/tire. We are also brought to you today by Smalls. Boy, do I love Smalls. I love my cats. They basically run my entire non-car social life. They certainly run my house. They sleep in bed with me, and I will do anything for my kittens. And fortunately, they're all pretty healthy, but one day, and we've had senior cats in the past, I know that they will need super specialized food. But until then, I want to give them the best. And that's where Smalls comes in. Smalls cat food is protein-packed recipes made with preservative-free ingredients that you'd find in your own fridge, delivered right to your door. That's why Cats.com named Smalls their best overall cat food. And now, with my offer, you can get 60% off your first order plus free shipping. Head over to smalls.com/tire for a limited time only. My cats love this Smalls food. They go right over it. Before, I was feeding them a well-known sort of pseudo-holistic brand, but they really like the Smalls better. I love that there's no preservatives. I love that it's high protein, so my cats develop that lean muscle and they don't get super fat from all the carbs, because a carb and filler heavy diet, your cat could put on weight. And what is good about these protein wet canned food diets is you get them on the cycle of eating at certain times of day. They're not grazing all day. That helps feed their kitten instincts. It makes them want to hunt, catch, kill, eat, groom, and sleep. And you can have a healthy every single day cycle with a fabulous routine where your cats have energy when you're up and going to sleep when you're going to sleep. After switching to Smalls, 88% of cat owners reported overall health improvements. It's a big deal. And now, for a limited time only, as a Smoking Tire listener, you can get 60% off your first Smalls order plus free shipping when you head over to smalls.com/tire. That's 60% off at smalls.com/tire. Again, one more time, smalls.com/tire. And now, back to the show.
You know, they have a lot of work to do, but I'm really excited for it because it will match the green notice watch that I now am wearing.
Yeah, it's very important to match your watch with your car.
It's not important, but like when I opened the box, I went, "Oh, this is gonna look sick when the tartan shows up." Yeah, tartan looks good.
You're gonna be doing this in front of the steering wheel.
I'm not. I can't be that person, but I'm just excited for it.
Speaking of steering wheels, I've solved the mystery of the scratch steering wheel. Thanks to some fans who this has happened to. It's not diamond rings, it's the rivets on my new jeans. When I get in the car, I slide my right here. Look.
What?
This.
Yeah.
See this rivet?
Yeah.
That, when I go to get in the car, right? With the force of a 260-pound, 259, by the way.
Nice.
Went to the cardiologist on Friday, 259. That's going down.
It's going the right way.
I haven't seen a 2.5 in a very long time.
Hey, congrats.
Yeah, the torque of a falling body passing a steering wheel, that's what does it.
So that's why it's crescent shaped, because it's like a conical pressure and it slides down the wheel. I guess a diamond would have like sliced. But wow.
Probably.
Who?
Yeah.
Wow. Someone else has done this. Okay.
Yeah. Other people have done this. So the good news is it's been like what 6 days since we talked about this, and it's like 50% gone now. So I think just using the steering wheel will just kind of make it go away. Someone else suggested like a little bit of water and some very fine steel wool. Like, okay, maybe that could be a thing, or whatever. But we'll see. We'll see if it goes away after like another week or so.
Okay, that's cool.
But I'm glad the mystery is solved.
Yeah, and Hannah's probably like, I told you it wasn't me.
Yeah. Are you still like screen sharing, by the way, for the recording, or?
Oh, I am. Let me pull that back down.
Yeah. We don't usually use remote shows, so we're not like good at it. Sorry.
I forgot that I didn't tap the button, and so yeah.
Yeah, but so I'm glad that at least the mystery is solved, and I haven't really apologized to Hannah for blaming her yet.
Well, you could hold back that apology until you don't get COVID. But if you get COVID,
Zach Clapman is always the clutch player.
You call it even. And you go, look.
Right. Yeah. 100%.
I did shame you on the internet, but I also got COVID. So.
So I had a very fun experience taking Waymos. I took 2, and they are pretty fun. So okay, immediate impressions. The app is just like Uber or Lyft, pretty much. I mean, it's close as makes no difference. There aren't levels. There's not like premium or like X or whatever. There's just one. So you summon one. They've just recently expanded coverage to a really big map of LA. You can really take one like most of the way across Los Angeles now, which is pretty cool. You can't go to the airport yet, which I totally understand why that is. The airport would probably be super hard for a Waymo. But okay, can't have everything. So the first ride was to a restaurant, and it was from my house to a restaurant. My house is a really easy one because my street is a very lightly trafficked street. And but when it pulled up, it didn't know that I was me in terms of like where to stop. Like I was standing at the end of my driveway, and it didn't just like stop in front of me. It stopped like 30 feet further at like the other end of my front yard.
So it's actually a lot like an Uber driver, because unless they see you, the number of times I've picked the dot that the app says on Lyft, it's like, go here, and then the person parks down the street one direction to the other all the time.
Yeah. So okay, fine. And you get in, there's some sort of spa-like music going, and you can change that in your rear touchscreen. And the Jaguar I-Paces, the one I was in today, had only 1,100 miles on it. So I guess they still have new Jaguar. They must have bought so many They must be sitting on thousands of Jaguar I-Paces.
I think there's a Waymo robot army that's building the I-Pace, because I'm shocked that they are this many. Like, how many did Jaguar make?
Like 10 years old by now.
Let me see.
But I'm not sure if I gave it 8 years ago or whatever. I gave the I-Pace like a pretty decent review, actually. And an I-Pace that is professionally cleaned every day is like a nice place. That's like a nice version of a cab.
So I was looking at production numbers of the I-Pace, which we can get to in a second. But what I just learned by looking at Wikipedia is when in 2019, the I-Pace won Car of the Year from the World Car Awards, the European Car of the Year, UK Car of the Year, German Car of the Year, Norwegian, China, all the journalists of Canada, South African. It won 2018's Top Gear EV of the Year, and it won Motor Week. Like it swept the world of auto journalist awards in 2018 and 19.
Yeah.
That's wild.
I liked it a lot. I thought it was really nice.
So
the one I was in today was really nice.
They sold only 6,400 total in the United States, but they sold almost 50,000 in Europe. So maybe they built way more than that. So there's, several thousand sitting on a lot somewhere, and Waymo bought them.
Yeah. So anyway, it was clean, it was comfortable, genuinely nice place to be. The car drove very conservatively. So this video on my Instagram is the end. I filmed the very end of this Waymo ride because it was particularly funny because it seemingly the car, it more or less did everything right. Now it was smooth. Its inputs, throttle, braking were very smooth, but it clearly preferred to brake rather than steer. Meaning, if it's going in a lane and another car in the next lane crowds a little bit, or there's someone in the center turn lane, but their car is kind of hanging into the lane, a normal driver would just nudge their car like this, right?
Mm-hmm.
This slows down more than would be normal for that type of maneuver. And it didn't have like full on phantom braking, but it definitely hit the brakes for stuff that like a good driver wouldn't have hit the brakes for. It was only a little bit. And in general, I would say that I felt perfectly safe the entire time. I felt that even if it reacted in kind of a strange way, it knew where everything was. I never felt like it was going to drive into something. It never exceeded the speed limit by even 1 mile an hour. So you realize how much, casual speeding goes on when you actually try to drive the speed limit everywhere you go.
Yeah.
But it actually I have to know if they have any kind of algorithm that is either connected to the traffic light system in our city or somehow predictive of it, because multiple times, so I know for a fact it will not accelerate to make a yellow light because it's already going the speed limit, and it will brake and stop at a yellow light if it doesn't think it can make it. But multiple times I got through a yellow light only just by the car holding the exact speed it was going. So I don't know if it has the software ability to predict like the exact length of time it has with yellow lights, because they're not always exactly the same length of time. But to get to my video, which I'll just share from my screen because it's the full screen. I took one this morning, and as I got back to the shop, it started to make some. Can you see this, Zach?
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so it took a weird route to the shop. It didn't. And I actually before this video happened, I took a picture of just the GPS map because I was like, this is very odd. Why is it taking this way? And then as we get to the shop,
guys, we got to take one more quick break for DeleteMe. You've been hearing me talk about DeleteMe for a while now. They're still here, still kicking it, and I can say for certain, I use DeleteMe. My wife did not use DeleteMe, and the amount of spam texts, phone calls, fake phone calls, emails and stuff that she gets compared to me is a noticeable difference. Her data is clearly more out there on the data broker websites than mine does. So like what happens is we are full of data brokers, right? When you sign up for anything, buy anything, use the internet in a way that people do, your data, your personal data, is then sold to data brokers who then use that data to spam you with stuff, right? So DeleteMe is a service that you sign up for and you tell them all the information that you want deleted. Seems ironic that you do that, but that's how it works. And then they scrape the entire internet looking for it and forcefully deleting it. And it's not just a one-time service. You sign up for DeleteMe, you fill out their questions, questionnaire, and then a couple days later, they have a report from you about what they found, what they deleted, and things you might need to personally approve or intervene to have deleted. But then, for me, it's about every month, they continue sending up reports, finding new stuff, new information, things that didn't quite get deleted last time. And over a period of a couple months, a couple cycles, your online life gets drastically better. I really like it, and in my own house, at least, it absolutely does work. So you can get it too. Take control of your data. Keep your private life private by signing up for DeleteMe, now at a special discount for our listeners. Get 20% off your DeleteMe plan when you go to joindeleteme.com/tire and use promo code TIRE at checkout. The only way to get 20% off is to go to joindeleteme.com/tire, enter code TIRE at checkout. One more time, joindeleteme.com/tire, and then code TIRE. And now, back to the show.
Is it taking this way? And then as we get to the shop, it doesn't approach. Can you hear this?
I can't hear it. I can see it.
Okay. You can't hear it. Okay. So rather than pulling up to like the front door on the main street, it takes these very strange series of turns to end up in the back alley by where my like trash bins are, and then it pulls over out back and is like, your ride is done. So it doesn't just like, it won't put it.
But what's weird,
had a
we've ordered food before, not often, but it continues to happen where food delivery and sometimes like people dropping cars off will get sent to the alley. It's like like Google Maps thinks your business, or some of it does, thinks that your business is like on the back side of the building, so people end up back there.
It's totally random when that happens.
Yeah.
Like I use my GPS to go to, I use both Google Maps and Waze to go to my own office all the time, and it takes me to the front. It doesn't take me to the back. It's never taken me to the back. So like, I don't know what would cause it to take to the back, but like but it also, it reveals a problem with this, which is that if there was a driver there, I could be like, hey buddy, you actually, this is the back. You go, there's no way to tell a Waymo, like, go to the other side of the building. And like, it's just, it's a weird reminder that yes, a computer can steer a steering wheel, a computer can accelerate and stop, and most of the time not crash into anything, sort of just like a human. But there's parts of not just operating a vehicle, but moving around in the world in which communicating with a human that like, hey man, you're going the wrong way. It's like the way that it's done.
Yeah, the computer can only adapt to the situation if it's in motion, and it's, as we've talked about before with autonomous things, if it's been programmed to intake certain kinds of data and adapt to that data. But it doesn't right now know how to adjust its behavior to a voice saying, hey, we're in an alley. And if this was like a big, let's say that you're in a big city where the blocks are like, a quarter mile long, if it went down the alley, if it's nighttime, and if all the buildings are commercial buildings with no door you can get into, it might be a pretty long walk in the evening to get back around to the sidewalk.
That's the case even at my building. It's not a huge block, but if you were to do that and that my rear service gate didn't just have to be open because a repairman was there, I'd have to walk all the way around the block to get to the other side. And it's not, for me, it's not a problem, but for, these things are pitched as a sort of solution for handicapped or disabled people, a solution for blind people. This sort of almost utopian solution for accessibility, which I don't totally disagree with, but at the same time, like, if it dropped a blind person off where it dropped me, and that person was trying to get into my business, they'd have a hell of a time figuring out where to go for that last 50 feet to get in,
Well, yeah, and it's also pitched as a safer option because, unfortunately, how do I say this without just getting blocked on YouTube? Certain crimes that are perpetrated by the drivers of ride service cars, This removes that, obviously, but if you get dropped in the middle of an alley, like that's not going to be the safest environment, possibly.
And for sure. I mean, if you're a single woman or someone who's in any way vulnerable, I 100% get this. I just think that it didn't take long for a very funny and very specific thing to happen that wouldn't possibly happen to a human driver, because I would have been able to tell them, no, go around to the front. Like,
yeah, I wonder if they're going to have to either, write AI code that can recognize the front of businesses by like a depression in the sidewalk.
Maybe.
Or if, you hope, I would hope, and it'd be impossible if they had to go address by address. Like maybe they need, is there a thing on the app where you can flag an issue that's something like this?
This happened like 2 hours ago and I've been busy. I haven't looked into it. I probably can. I could probably, it's Waymo, so it's going to be Google Maps, right? So I could probably go in and yeah, there's probably a support thing. Yeah. And I'll try it again and see if, a different car on a different day takes me to the front or the back. I was coming from one direction, but maybe if I'm coming from another direction, it'll choose a different adventure.
Yeah. Interesting. But otherwise, how did it compare? I'm sure you've had Uber drivers or Lyft drivers that are good and some that are bad. Does this feel safer?
It was better. Yeah, it was incredibly cautious. So it drove like somebody who went to chauffeur school and was taught to drive very smoothly, but that person was also not fully confident in their own abilities with like the dynamics of a car, right? So it was like safe and cautious and timid. It was not it didn't drive like a really good driver would drive, but it drove better than a bad driver would drive. And the car was clean and the car was comfortable, and I have my own controls for the music, the temperature, the anything, I've got I'm under a commercial insurance policy, which is a big thing. And although I don't trust the idea of camera only autonomy, I do trust to a certain degree the idea of a multi-sensor suite of autonomy. I've now been driving around LA for a year or so. The Waymo like hub is kind of near where we work and where I live. And so I see hundreds and hundreds of Waymos a day. And honestly, the way I've watched them drive generally gives me confidence to be around them in other cars and in motorcycles. I think a Waymo drives more predictably than, other than the little bits of like phantom tap on the brake rather than do that. A Waymo will always signal, always. You know what I mean? Like, a Waymo, won't intentionally break laws. And so actually, like, although this funny, yes, it brought me to the back of my building by the trash instead of the front door, and that's kind of funny. But it did technically, get me there safely and smoothly and on time and with absolutely zero fuss whatsoever. And so I do intend to keep using it. I'd put my wife in one. I'd ride in it again for sure.
I'm curious. I was going to look up how far they can go in LA because I could take one to pick up my car, but
the map is pretty big. I can look but I don't think it goes to the valley.
It does not. Right now, it's the mountains are the wall. So I
don't know if they go on freeways.
I don't think they do, and they don't. And it's funny. The other options are like aggressive canyon roads, like Laurel Canyon and stuff. So
yeah,
but it's probably more just the city jurisdictions they have to apply and they get approved. So
it may be, but I'm not sure I've seen them on the highway.
I have not. I don't think they're allowed to drive on the highway.
But just showing up, like here's the map of coverage, and that's a pretty big area. I mean, it doesn't go too far east of downtown. It pretty much ends at downtown. But for someone like myself, like that area is where I live my life. So that's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Okay, wait. All right, I just had to make sure that the addresses that showed up on my screen were actually work addresses and not my home address.
I was looking intently. Yeah.
Yeah. All right, cool. Well, yeah, we're good. But no, it was fun, and Zach, you should definitely. Oh, and it was also convenient because I had to shuttle this customer's car over to the body shop, but I also felt guilty. Not guilty, but like I didn't want to saddle some poor Uber driver knowing my wife just tested positive for COVID. So like, hey, got to go home in, a car with no driver. Put the windows down, put on that spa music, and kind of enjoyed myself.
Yeah, I've got the app, so I'll give it a try.
Yeah, I mean, look, honestly, after like 3 or 4 minutes in the car, I was like checking my phone and doing shit I would be doing in another car. It was the first 30 seconds. It's and then you're like, oh, okay, well, all right, this thing, probably all right.
I mean, we've seen them driving around long enough. I remember when they first were rolling out the maps in LA, and it was almost like a traveling circus. I'm sure we would have been more nervous, but cool.
I see so many of them.
Yeah.
So many of them. Because the hub is right over here by Google's headquarters, and they park like, I don't know, 1,000 of them or something over there.
Yeah.
So,
during the protests, there were a lot of them behind a certain fence. Near this coffee shop, and I was like, oh, they're all cowering. They've all been called back home, essentially.
Yeah, so we're gonna find out one day that there's some program that will like turn them into an army, but until then, it behooves Google to make us think that they're all cowards.
On that show concept I wrote that I told you about a long time ago, that was one of the plot points, which I'll tell you I'll tell you more detail later, because it was a funny idea and then it became a really not funny idea.
Well, it happened. They did it as a scene in that there was a movie from a year or two ago. It was like
they did it in Fast
Apocalypse
7, I think, or 6. Like I think it was Charlize Theron, the hacker, who could like send all the cars to crash into shit.
Oh yeah, right. No, but they also did it with Teslas specifically in some recent disaster movie from like a year or two ago.
Oh, yes, I know. I think it was the one on Netflix, right?
Yes.
That was a pretty cool point. They were standing on the highway, and all of a sudden the cars just go and just go flying, and they were like, "Oh, yeah. we're in the end of the bowling alley here." That was a good movie, but also far too real and chilling.
Right. Speaking of bad AI and corporate overlords, did you see that like Hertz is now using these sort of quote AI powered? It's probably not really AI powered. It's just very powerful computers to detect damage on their rental cars, and like people are getting fined for like the tiniest little bit of damage.
And then one of the big problems is that AI is quote finding things and then charging the people immediately. And there's no and if they want to push back on it, that process is really complicated. And what I think Autopian did an article about this was that Hertz had this weird incentive. It was like, hey, your fine is X, but if you pay quickly, it's X minus something. Yeah. So it's almost like, don't protest, pay us $200, not $400, and then you can just go. I don't like this.
No, I don't either. And it's not because I intend to damage rental cars, but for one, if it is truly using a large language model to the point where it could somehow, I don't know how imagery can apply to large language models, but it really just seems like it could analyze before and after scans of a vehicle very quickly.
Probably.
But there's wear and tear on vehicles, and it seems like they have an opportunity to really, I do think if they take this too far, they will lose business, because I can't imagine unless every single rental car company all at once has determined that they're going to monopolize essentially together, create a monopoly in which this is the the standard, and so there'll be no way to rent a car without this.
So this is the Autopian article, which I'll read a little bit because it's important. But one of the problems, I agree with you, is that if AI, like, how good is it to determine the difference between a new ding and a piece of like dust, or if a water droplet hit a dusty panel and now the panel's clean, all that stuff. So this person returned their car 2 hours later, got a notification that there were damages on highlighted areas. And this person said, granted, this is their argument, nothing any human would detect or consider damage. But the automated message said they owed $190, but if they paid today, it would only be $125. In their area, that's the price of a 4-day rental. And they said that to protest the fee, it is an automated AI chat experience that does not break or go to a human interaction no matter what choices you make. You are only given explanations why you still owe $190. So you can't say representative, you can't do any of that stuff, and then you just feel like you're probably stuck there.
Oh, wow. Well, if that's the case, I would never rent from that company again. I mean, straight up, that's crazy. So that's what they mean when they say AI powered. I assume they were referring to the scanning devices that were looking at the car. But if it's the customer service end of it that is purely AI powered without humans, that's like extra fucked up.
Well, it's both. So here, check this out. This is a screen grab of what AI said, Hertz's AI said was damaged. So this tiny, I mean, I'm not sure what the scale of this is, but it just looks like there's some waviness reflected from a fence or something, and that's what they're calling. And
well, it's probably one of those light. It's a tunnel of light that they drive through. So those are probably the beams, and the beams are straight. And so when it detects a wave, that's like a door ding or an acorn drop or something.
Yeah, maybe. And I would be. This would make me want, when I pick up a car from Hertz, I go, okay, can you verify to me, or like a Consumer Protections Bureau should say, can you verify that you fixed these things?
Right.
You know, this person paid for it. Did they repair this on the car? Probably not. So that way the next person going out has totally clean sheet metal.
Yeah. I guarantee you they did not repair that.
Oh, of course not.
But I am not about that. I didn't really like Hertz to begin with. They're fucking overpriced, honestly.
Yes, they are.
Although, this past weekend, I was sort of, it was a gig, but I got a flat fee and I had to do my own expenses. Whatever I spent came out of the flat fee. So I was debating whether to get a rental car or take Ubers. And I looked, and I was there for I don't even think it was 36 hours. I was there from 10 a.m. on Saturday to 8 p.m. on Sunday. And so a rental car was like $500. I was like, what the fuck? But so I had to take like 6 Ubers, and it was over $400 for the 6 Ubers. And I was like, oh my God, I can't believe how I was like, this is going to be like a landslide for the Ubers. Like, no, it wasn't actually.
Wow. Well, according to these stats, the car rental industry continues to make more and more money each year. I was curious if they were seeing a decline in revenue and this is a way to make it up, but they're actually have made quite a lot more money over the last few years.
I'm sure, since COVID, other than when they sold all their cars because people stopped traveling for 4 months. After that, road trips and things like that, dude, rental cars have gotten crazy expensive.
Yeah.
Okay. What? Oh, I have to thank. Oh, wait. Hold on. Hold 1 second. Can you still hear me, Zach?
Yes.
Oh, great. Okay. I'm just walking into my kitchen. I have to give a public shout out to a fan named Andrew who listens to the show and owns a company called Lowrider Cookies in the Seattle airport.
Oh.
And he had a box of cookies made and waiting for me. I think this is a stuffed peanut butter cookie, and we got chocolate chip, and these cookies are insanely good. The peanut butter one, fire.
These were waiting for you at the airport?
Yeah.
This would be a real problem for me because that's pretty much my favorite and only dessert I really like. I would just eat the whole box on the plane.
It was a heavy box. It was a real problem. I only have one. But he was like, "Are you going to be going to the Delta Lounge?" And I was like, "Natch." And he was like, "Well, my store is right across from the Delta Lounge. I will have a box waiting for you."
Wow.
And he did.
That's a big box.
That's awesome. They're fucking good cookies, man.
It figures this is the week you won't go to the office because you're, because of Hannah.
I'll leave the cookies. I'll bring you cookies.
I think it's worth the COVID.
Mm-hmm. Probably.
I think it's worth it. Yeah.
After tomorrow, you back to eat regular food again?
Yeah. Try heating one for 12 seconds in a microwave. I had a lot of cookie experience in high school. That was the perfect amount of time in a microwave to heat a chocolate chip cookie.
12 seconds, huh?
12 seconds. And if it's 2 cookies, you might need 20.
Sounds like a good shit. I like that. I like that a lot.
12.
We are coming to Texas. Don't forget to get your ticket. July 24th in Houston and July 25th in Dallas. Is that right? Can't remember. Why? I can't remember. Why can I not remember which day is which? It's in my calendar.
All right. Patreon questions.
Yeah, we got, of course, if you want to get the show early, get the show without ads, get extra show, ask us questions for the show, and get access to exclusive collabs like that green Notice Canyon watch that Zach is wearing today. Patreon.com/The Smoking Tire Podcast is where you do it. Zach has the listicle, so he can read us some questions today.
Reach out. This is from the Smoking Tyler. I recently bought a 2021 Supra, and I want to get into track days. Is the Supra too fast to learn in? If so, should I buy a second, slower car to start out in? I have money set aside. Or should I pay for racing school, then track the Supra?
These are fun questions because it never occurs to people to just like drive their car a little slower. Like a car, there's no such thing as a car that's too fast. You can just drive it slower if you want. It won't be.
Yeah.
Do you disagree?
Temptation. I think it'd be very hard once you're on a track. You get excited. I think this is a very mature question, and it could be easy to. It is a mature
question, but it's just a funny question.
I think if someone's new to this, though, I think it's easier to overdrive your skills and car when you're a novice than when you're someone like us who, you can put us in a huge horsepower, crazy fast track car, and we're going to go, all right, I'm going to warm up a bit because I know where this can go wrong. But this guy might just, if you have like terrible turn-in technique, you could sail off in your car, even if you're not going 10/10. So
sure. But that car it's a fast car, but if you leave the stability control and stuff on, and like when you're learning, like an instructor will do exercises like you'll run 10 laps in 4th gear, or whatever. You'll have other things that'll limit you to how fast you can go. In order to develop certain specific skill sets. If you're working on turn-ins and apexing in your line, and they don't want you thinking about your gears or going fast, they'll go drive the entire track in 4th gear. And then you don't have to think about it. And then you can add shifting back in later. But I don't know, Supras are fast, but at the same time, I think they're not too fast for a beginner as long as you understand that you don't actually need to be at full throttle all the time to that car.
If Tyler's this new, I think it's more valuable to go to a school than drive your one car than to buy a second car, store a second car, register, maintain.
Yeah.
And then you'll also level up your skills under the tutelage of professionals. And then when you go to these track days, you can practice those skills. I think that'll pay off a lot better than just buying a shit box and then just driving it a lot.
No, I probably would suggest kickstarting if you want to get into track work, it behooves you, if you can afford it, to kickstart that hobby with like a 3 or 4 day racing school in their cars with instructors, full time. And then afterwards you can go, okay, now what car is my car appropriate for this task? Is it too much or too little? And and then you can kind of go to track days sort of from there.
Mm-hmm. All right, Bad Gartner says he watched the T33 go up the hill at Goodwood, said it sounds interesting but a little tinny, and the hood looked like it was going to fall off. Based off of that and the understated styling, he says, disregarding the engineering, seems like a car that we'd like to see at 150 grand, but might still struggle to sell. Do we feel the same way?
I think if it was cheap, they'd probably sell less. No, they're expensive.
I don't think
they're like
$1 million.
Yeah,
I don't think you can disregard the engineering. I think that's an unfair argument. That's a huge part of why they're expensive is the engine and the suspension and the carbon construction. And then another huge part of it is that it's Gordon's car.
Yeah.
So,
yeah. I mean, look, I don't know if he's ever done a car that was really like classically beautiful in the way that the most beautiful sports cars have been. I mean, I think the F1 has aged very well, but I'm old enough to remember that in the 90s, they didn't write about it like it was some stunning thing. I mean, it was very fast and very purposeful, but no one ever really spent much time talking about it being pretty. And I think T50 and T33 are the same way. They're not traditionally beautiful cars, although I do think the T50 looks very.
Do you think that the McLaren F1 styling influenced to a large degree supercars and hypercars that came after it, and therefore that's why we look back on it with such fond admiration? I'm asking the question. I'm not arguing that. I'm like genuinely curious what you think.
Not really. I mean, there wasn't a lot of stuff that, from a design standpoint, McLaren did for the first time with that car that then became like the standard. They did some very cool weight-saving stuff. They did some very cool packaging stuff, but none of it like took the industry by storm, and then that just became the way it was done. It was always pretty far out there. And I think, I mean, I don't know, mid-engine V12 wedge-shaped cars were already sort of going on at that time. It wasn't unique in that space.
Yeah. Side strakes were already a thing, and closed headlights were a thing.
That was already kind of a thing. No, it sort of stood alone, I think,
Yeah. Okay. Christian Glazed Ham. My 15-year-old gets his license next month and wants a cheap, fun manual. Is there a better choice than a 10-year-old Golf? Not really. That's pretty great.
That's pretty good. I just got dropped off the last stick shift Mazda 3. And I just drove it from the office to my house. And it seems, I mean, just in, 2 miles, it feels pretty engaging. Shifter feels nice. The dashboard is simple but very well laid out and feels like it's nice materials. There's knobs for things. Gauges are real. It does have the dumb puck, just like the CX-50. It's not a touchscreen.
Correction about that. Some people DM me. You have to go into the settings and you can change it to a touchscreen.
Get the fuck out of here.
That's what they said. They're like, it has a touchscreen, and when you activate it, but someone's like, I like using the puck. It's better for non-distracted driving. But yeah,
that's crazy. Okay,
I don't know. Make a note to go mess with it. But
that's a journalist. That's a journalist problem right there. That is definitely a journalist problem. No one told us that you could turn this thing that we didn't know with a touchscreen into one. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, so far, I think if you wanted to get a new manual driver, a car that wasn't a piece of crap, these current gen Mazda 3s are pretty nice.
I agree. Yeah. Barbecue sauce on that dude's titties says, is there room in the market for Porsche to bring back the 912? Essentially, a Porsche 911T, cheaper with a 4-cylinder.
There's no. Why does Porsche need to move down market when they could just keep moving up market?
Yeah.
To go back to that other question,
sure.
About also minis. Minis are very easy cars to learn stick on, and small, fun, zippy. They lend themselves well to a learning stick.
Yeah. strong, and they're
like I sold those
safe rating's
little
good.
coupes we had. We had those two. I sold that mint condition S coupe for like, I don't know, $16,000, and it had like 35,000 miles on it. It was in mint condition. That would be a great car to learn to stick on.
Yeah, and they've got like style and pizzazz and all that kind. Like they look cool. They're a cool car and a good front wheel drive car.
Yeah, they're fun.
Matt's Bong the Adjuster asks, in honor of everyone forgetting, and we're not forgetting, about the Epstein list, what are the craziest automotive conspiracies that industry folks try to keep quiet?
Oh, conspiracy?
The only one I've ever heard of is the water-powered car. And like, you gotta go on YouTube. It's an old story, and the guy died.
The guys. Yeah.
Yeah. So that one, I don't know enough. I've watched that video, and the video will scare you, but that's like the only source of information I had. So, who knows?
I mean, almost all the conspiracy theories came from Henry Ford. Like, I don't know if there's, they'd like you to really forget about Henry Ford, a lot of what he did in the second half of his life, I think. No, I mean, are there conspiracy theories? I mean, I just finished reading a couple weeks ago, On a Clear Day, You Can See General Motors, which was John DeLorean sort of. It was like Kitchen Confidential, but for the car industry, by John DeLorean. So that was very interesting, and talking about mismanagement and scandal and self-dealing and all kinds of incompetence and stupidity and stuff like that. I don't know. Do you know any conspiracies other than that water one? I don't think I've ever heard of one.
I don't know if this would count, but when cars were new and people thought if you went too fast with no roof on, your head would fall off.
Yeah, your face would tear off. Yeah.
Like if we had forums back then, that would have been all over them. 4chan.
There probably actually really is a speed that would happen at. It's just like 100 times higher than whatever they originally thought it was.
Yeah, who would do that justice is like XKCD, that engineering comic strip or someone like that. There's definitely a mathematical formula.
Yeah, for sure.
Like someone asked them, what if you shot water through a hose at like the speed of sound, and it would blow up the earth because of the thermal meltdown of like compressing water to that degree.
Oh, really?
Yeah, it's very cool. A lot of math.
You have like a runaway thermal event, basically.
It was when you compress water to such an amount, and the velocity accelerates, it starts to bubble, and then it starts creating heat. And like this person wanted to take like all the water in the ocean and then shove it through like a drinking straw. And it's like, all right, well, if you did that, the velocity of the water would be so high that the thermal result would be so high that it would probably just melt the planet. And like they did.
Wow.
It did all the math.
That's crazy. Math is fun sometimes.
Math. This is how you use math for fun. I think you have to go to boarding school for a while before you can use it for fun. Domesticated Jaguar XJS, I like that name, asks,
do you see the TWR Supercats time at Goodwood?
I didn't see the time, but I heard it and it sounded rad.
It ran the same time up a hill as the Ferrari Roma. Just going.
Wow.
I'm going.
I'm honestly shocked.
Sorry, I'm eating lowrider cookies. They're really good.
The Roma has all the technology, in the world that Ferrari will put in it. That is very impressive. Damn. All right. Their question is, what is the least desirable $1 million plus car?
SF90. Or Veyron. For you?
Well, if it's new MSRP, I was going to say the Countach reboot. I don't like that very much. And also like any of the vaporware that gets announced every 3 years and isn't made. But yeah, I think the Countach for me.
The SF90 is not $1 million anymore. It was when it came out.
Right, and neither is the Veyron.
Oh, but one just sold for 1.5, I think. But those are both kind of dull to me. There's a lot of old stuff that I couldn't give less of a shit about. Some like super special numbers matching muscle car that just feels like every other muscle car that like it, but because it's got some number on it somewhere.
That's the answer. It would be any of the cars that are sold at auction for charity, but they go for $1 million when they're worth 80,000. When it's like first Corvette, and I'm not saying the charitable donation is not worth it. I'm saying that that car is not worth $1 million, because if you go to resell it, it won't be worth $1 million. All right, Lamborghini in a bottle. How do we think Stratos and Dakars will be viewed in 20 years?
Awesome, just like they are now. I don't. What? It's not like rally sports cars weren't cool 20 years ago. I mean, look at stuff like the Golf Country, or I mean the Group B cars, the road homologated versions of the Group B cars. I mean, I think people like rally cars. I think people like rallying, and I think those cars will age fairly gracefully.
Sure, and most apocalyptic movies, the cars of the future are all lifted, so that might be the only thing you can get around in.
Yeah.
Here from Matt's Cat says, what regulatory changes can we as voters push our representatives for to create a better car buying market and car driving experience?
What? I mean, a weight tax. I think a weight tax could force consumers out of pressure consumers out of overly heavy vehicles, whether they're electric or gas or diesel. And I think it could help repair some of the infrastructure that we have to deal with as a result of negligence and the overweight vehicles that are on them. And also for anyone who thinks like, oh, road taxes are paid for in gas and EVs aren't using gas. Well, heavy EVs could pay a weight tax as well. So that's one I'd really like to see. Do you have any, Zach, legislative changes?
I mean, I think cementing the right to repair law would be great, so they don't have to fight for it every year.
I think I'd like to see. Oh, sorry, go on. Sorry.
And eventually, like a flat fixed dealership pricing, which I know the dealership lobby will fight against, but just the negotiation of prices for things. It's like the only industry besides houses, I think, that we have to do that.
But you don't like the haggle.
I don't like the haggle, and I don't like that, two people could go to buy the exact same car, possibly from the same dealership, and they could pay two different prices for it based on how much fortitude they have or how good they are at negotiating with something. I just think that sucks.
So it just not to be, I understand. I think that does suck too. But like right now, it seems like, because I don't think the government can force private businesses to fix prices, right? But like if you went with the Tesla model, as many people, want to defend, Tesla changes their price. You could buy a Tesla on Thursday and I could buy one on Saturday, and neither of us haggled. And just through a random bit of timing, you could pay less or more than I paid for that same exact car.
No, you're right. This is the wrong subject, because I don't want to tell the government to set prices on all the things, because that unravels a whole barrel of snakes. So I'll just go with the right to repair law, and then we'll end there, Bob.
All right.
What do we think about the new super speeders law in Florida? You know that? It went into effect July 1.
It's a huge fine or something for like a triple digit speeding ticket.
If you're going 50 miles per hour over the speed limit, your fine starts at $500 and could be 30 days in jail. And then if you're a repeat offender, the fine goes up to $1,000 and possibly 90 days in jail.
Okay. 50 over?
Yeah, targets drivers who exceed the speed limit by 50 over, or who drive at 100 miles per hour or more.
I mean, it's in LA, or I think all of California. Getting caught going over 100 is like a real crime.
It can be reckless, yeah.
Well, it can be a felony. Actually, there is such a thing. I remember looking this up for a show a few months ago. There is such a thing as felony speeding. It's at a cop's discretion whether or not to charge you with felony speeding. And generally, you'd have to hurt somebody in order to get felony speeding. But it is legal. Like you could get an actual felony for doing nothing besides driving a car. Yeah, it is. But no, I do not think that the state needs to be more lenient on people that are out on public roads going over 100 or doing 50 over the limit. No, I have no problem with that being very illegal.
Yeah. A distant in-law of mine just got this young man is like not even 18 and has gotten way too many tickets in a car that's not fast.
Yeah.
And got a ticket right after getting leniency from a judge. And we were like, man, I wish he was in Florida because he should probably get slapped with this just to like teach him a consequence.
Yeah.
All right. If you're spending big bucks on a watch that's not from one of the big well-known brands, what would it be?
I mean, I would say that most people probably don't know what an MB&F is, and that's probably what I would. That's where watches become like real insano art. And it's sort of a steampunk aesthetic. I mean, once to a certain point, a watch always looks like a normal watch, and then once you get beyond the bounds of what normal timekeeping has to be, and Max Busser of MB&F draws like just the craziest looking stuff. Yeah, so that's their newest release, which by the way, you spin the entire head of it to wind it. It's a crazy thing.
Dude, forget telling time. This looks like it stops time. This is
this is
like incredible.
Space communicator.
Totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, you could put this in any Star Wars show, and people go, "Wow, the props department made something really cool."
But that's just one. If you pull up their menu, there should be other models, and this is one of their more actually. Just go to machines. This is one of their more tame machines. Yeah, so just pick. Go to the HM10 or any of them. Okay. So this is the 11. But yeah, that was the 11. 10 is different. This one looks sort of like, they call this one the bullfrog. But you can see the hours on the left there and the minutes on the right on those sort of, bulldog, excuse me, not bullfrog.
That's cool.
Yeah. Cool, right?
Very, very cool. There we go.
Yeah. Isn't that right?
I gotta say, it looks more like a bullfrog than a bulldog, so I'm with you.
Well, I know. And I made the same mistake when I interviewed Swiss Beats. He was wearing this watch. But some of these, look at that one, horological machine number 9. Looks like a submarine almost that you wear on your wrist, and you read the time on the side circle there. You see that?
Yeah. Wow. All right.
Yeah. So if I'm going 6 figures, it's going to be an MB&F, and it's going to be an insane space communicator machine.
All right. GT3 Dreams JCW Budget says, what are our tips for attending auto racing in person? They wanted to attend an event, but it was either general admission tickets or super expensive tickets. How do you keep track of the race from the general admission seats?
You don't. It's a bad way to watch racing. Yeah.
You're going to be looking at your phone, is the truth. I mean, you can now, if you want to get nerdy, you can download various track lap apps. And you can watch all the teams and stuff, or like you could buy a subscription and probably listen to a radio or watch it on your iPhone as you also sit in the stands. But like you said, you just don't. Oh, okay. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off.
No, there isn't. You just don't. Yeah.
Guy Ferrari. I love this name.
That's funny.
Currently has a modified Fiesta ST track car. Instead of continuing to modify it to get faster on track, am I better off selling it and getting an S2000?
Probably. That car's got a limit. You're gonna get there, and then you'll probably blow it up. Honestly. They are so fun. But at a certain point, they've got a ceiling, and the S2000's ceiling is higher, if you want even higher, maybe say Corvette, but yeah, you can go faster in an S2000 than you can in a PS2 for sure.
All right, Lane Meyer K12 asks, if Aston Martin made a small NA V6 powered car for like 65 grand, would people like it, and wouldn't that propel the company to more mainstream sales?
It's very funny that a lot of people think, huh, I don't know how much going down market benefits Aston Martin at all. I know that our audience and car enthusiasts are clamoring for more affordable sports cars, but are we really looking for the boutique manufacturers to deliver that when they could turn around and do a hypercar for $5 million and sell 100 of them, and that'll be that, and they can make the same amount of money, and the shareholders will be just as happy. I don't know if they're gonna save us here.
Plus, I mean, now this is changing all the time, but if globally there's emissions regulations, and these big companies like Porsche can build EVs that offset their carbon, and then they could build these GT cars. But Aston would have to, it's the Signet thing all over again, right? Wouldn't they? Right. Aston would have to build something super efficient to then be able to sell something kind of in the middle.
Yeah. I don't see that really being a thing where their alternative is they could add some kind of super exclusive package on a Vanquish that would add $100,000 to the MSRP, of that, and really pad it that way. Lambo didn't use any. They didn't do a Lamborghini version of the Audi TT, but instead they did an Urus Performante that made the thing worse, but added $100,000 to the MSRP, and then they posted like an enormous profit margin.
That's a good point.
So, yeah. Okay. Yay, yeah, capitalism, bad for regular people who just want to buy cars.
I think we're asking for them to go to where the market isn't. And I know that's where we are, but there's obviously more people that want a fast SUV.
Yeah.
If you, RX Heaven, if you were in charge of the next generation Miata, what would you do? Would you make the best lightweight EV? Would you go hybrid, or just keep it old school with NA and manual?
I would keep it old school, and I would not. That is not a problem that needs solving. The Miata is perfect as is. I would do everything I could to keep it at that whatever 2,300 and whatever pounds it weighs. It would be nice to have obviously a tiny bit more power, but it doesn't really need it. I might try to here's what I would do. I'd try to restyle that fixed roof one. I'm not that into how it looks. I like the idea of the retractable hardtop because people who park their car in cities on the street, whatever, want a hardtop. But I don't know. I think maybe I'd rather either a true coupe,
yes,
or a Targa that wasn't power remove. There was just a manual Targa that looked a little different. I like the idea of the RS, but I don't like how it actually looks.
It's very bubbly, the top. And I know that it's packaging and room and all that stuff, but I know what you mean. It's the transition is very abrupt.
Yeah.
I'm with you. Yeah.
Yeah.
And I like that car. Yuli Kunkel's Autobahn is sending their 18-year-old daughter to out-of-state college. She's an interior design student. They want to get her car balancing safety, reliability, and ease of service, but something that's also classic, timeless, and has functional design. What would you get for this person?
A Wrangler. Right? A Wrangler's they're for people who don't care about driving, but do care about design.
True.
And aesthetics. They're pretty classic and timeless. It's a good school car for a college person because it's, it's going to be good in bad weather. It's not too fast, you know. It's, I mean, a modern Wrangler is like it's reasonably safe. It's not like horribly unsafe.
Yeah, it's a lot better than they used to be. This person wants a car 4 to 8 years old, so that's a pretty good choice.
Yeah, I wouldn't get a hybrid. I'd get a gas one, the Pentastar.
What about like a TTS? Like it looks cool.
An Audi TTS?
Yeah, it's not too fast.
I think they're nice cars, but I think a college student needs to like haul shit around.
Oh, I think the answer again is Mini Cooper.
Oh yeah,
that's
for sure.
That's the answer.
Yeah. A mini is good. I like that. That's a good one. Yeah.
I know
Stylish,
you have to leave soon.
Yeah. A fun color.
Let her find one with a cool color and stuff. So
yeah, I have a few minutes. Yeah.
Do you think this is Travis Pastrana's primary care provider? Do you think the new Toyota GT concept will be a new LFA type halo car?
No, I think it will be a bump up from the LC 500. It'll be the $150,000 to $200,000. It'll occupy the space of the AMG GT and the SL63 and the Aston Vanquish, maybe somewhere between the DB12 and the Vanquish, but with a unique sort of a Japanese motorsport flavor to it. The spy shots almost make it look like an SLS Black Series, don't they?
A bit. I mean, the long hood.
Long nose.
Really long hood. It does.
I think it's a long nose because they want that entire engine behind the front axle, like an AMG GT. So that's why it's got the long nose.
I'm into that. Very short deck. It looks wide. Very.
And there's someone posted a spy shot of the interior, and that looked pretty cool.
The interior looked great with the red leather.
Yeah, it was really nice.
And the switch gear on it looked awesome.
This spy shots, it looked like somewhere between an FD RX-7, an LC 500, a little bit of that Alpine, actually. A bunch of different interesting bits of design. Some kind of stuff. Should be cool.
Yeah, I'm into it.
Yeah. One more, and then we break for next time.
Yeah, let's
make it really good.
Part of that's up to the people. Would you like a drivetrain question? Actually, they're both drivetrain questions. Okay. Given that Toyota has 5% stake in Mazda, do we think the Supra would have been better as a joint project with Mazda using their 3.3-liter turbo, or was BMW the right choice?
I think the people that have Supras really like that BMW engine.
Yeah.
I think that engine is a pretty stout engine that's known for making power, and it sounds pretty good. And I think it seems like the right choice, doesn't it?
I totally agree. I mean, the Mark IV's reputation was strong engine, responds to modifications, blah, blah, blah. The B58 does exactly that. I don't know, and I haven't driven a car with a modified, Mazda 3.3 in it. So comments let us know if those can make huge power. But, if you want to really win over the enthusiasts, give them an engine where you tap some keys and all of a sudden they get 100 horsepower, and you bolt on one pipe and they get another 100 horsepower.
Yeah.
And that's what wins them over. So
yeah, for sure.
I think it was the right move for that reason.
We'll end the show with a very beautiful and handsome kitten named Monty, who's a little snowshoe ragdoll.
The most expensive cat in the world.
Most expensive cat in the world. Thank you, Cedars Sinai. Thank you to our patrons for some great questions. Please come see us in Texas in 2 weeks. It's going to be super, super fun. We have special exclusive merch that we're only going to sell at that event. We're signing stuff, having some drinks with the boys, and of course, you get to see a Christian Gin Can show. on top of a smoking tire show. So yay! Plus, we'll roast your cars. That'll be fun.
Yeah.
Couple more examples of the Green Canyon are left. It's down to the single digits. We sold the last of the blue ones, so that one is gone forever. And what else do we have? Our new video will be up probably by the time you hear this. It's the update on the Myers-Banks. We go down to visit and see how my build is going, and then we take out the radial prototype for a little drive. So check that out. Anything else, Zach?
That's it.
All right. We'll see you guys next week. Bye.